What's the norm? What's the norm? How old, for example? How old? No, let me explain. How old is Mary likely to be?
From the tribe of Israel. You understand that?
Oh, I see.
How old is the age?
How old was Mary, do you think? When she consummated her marriage? According to Western biblical scholars, how old would Mary have been?
They would say they don't know because there's
no, they do. For example, an often cited figure is 12 years old. Do you accept it acceptable for an older man to have intercourse with a 12-year-old?
No. You just made a claim. I'm asking about that claim.
It comes from a certain Catholic encyclopedia. Or you can read it online.
Which references
what? You can Google it.
No, you're being deceitful now. You either don't know this or you're
Oh,
deceitful.
if you're going to be personal,
I've read what you just mentioned.
Right.
What does that Catholic encyclopedia reference?
Right. It references. Well, I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
You don't know.
I don't remember.
You're quoting things you don't know.
But
it references a Gnostic.
Let me just point this out. The average age of consent in the Bible is puberty. All right. So if a woman reaches, no, you didn't. You said I didn't know an answer. That's not a lie.
Scholars accept. No, you just told me that scholars accept.
There are some scholars who say that Mary was 12 years old when she only some, yeah.
Oh no, you said the majority of scholars.
No, well, I said some.
No,
I said some.
Okay,
you're quibbling now. You're quibbling.
No, I'm not quibbling. I'm putting out.
Why did God not prohibit? Okay.
To try and make
is it not the case that the puberty was the norm biblically for marriage in the Bible? Can you answer my question? Can you answer my question? Can you answer my question?
I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
There's a world of difference between what an average man from the tribe of Israel does and what is supposedly the moral example of all of humanity does.
What in Jesus' day?
And then proclaims it as a moral.
Okay. What about in Jesus' day? According to Jesus, what's the age of consent for marriage in Israel? According to the laws. So what's the normal practice then in Israel?
Why am I being
the normal practice is puberty. So when a woman and a man reach biological purity, they can actually get married. That's the norm in rabbinical law at that time. Now, so how could they be? They could be 10 years old, they could be 12 years old. So you don't get your morality from the Bible, you get your morality from secular liberal values in the last 50 years. You don't get your morality from God, you're a secularist, which means in effect you're an atheist. You're an atheist. We are.
I'm an atheist.
Yes, in effect you are. Because your morality comes from the West, which is secular, not from God. Indeed, but now it's secular, and you get your values now from a secular liberal context. So your values don't come from God, which you initially claimed, which now you're being deceitful, because they don't come from the Bible, they come from a secular liberal atheist environment. And what you've done is you universalized your regional local morality, which comes from Western liberal values, and now you're using it to judge Muslims and all of mankind. Now this is typical Western arrogance. This is Western arrogance. The Westerners think they can preach to Muslims and the rest of the world about what is right and wrong. And this is not acceptable, because Muslims and others, Christians as well, used to follow the divine law. And the divine law comes from God, not from the BBC and the Daily Mail and Sky News, which is what he follows. He doesn't follow God's law, although he pretends he does. And this is the root of the problem. He's abandoned God, and he has atheism, and he dresses it up as God. So
you need to accept that. You need to
my accusation is you're an atheist in effect. You don't follow God because you follow atheist, secular, liberal values rather than values that come from divine law.
Can you prove that?
Yes. Okay. Because you are coming from a position of secular liberal values in the West. Well, you're interrupting. You're interrupting. Until very recently in the West, if you look at the age of consent laws in the United States, in Britain, in Christian Britain in the 19th century, the age of consent was 7 years old in Britain in Christian 19th century. But now he comes from atheist, secular, liberal values, and he's using it to criticize Muslims. So note he's no longer a Christian. But he's pretending to be a Christian, pretending to have godly values. But the historical evidence of Christian countries, look at America. In many states in the 19th century, there were no age of consent laws. This is when America was Christian. Now it's secular. He supports Western values, secular liberal values. So do not be deceived, folks. These Christians are pretending to be religious, but they don't follow God. The only people who do follow God are traditional Christians, which you're not because you're an atheist in effect, and Muslims, who follow...
Do I love Richard Dawkins?
No, you follow secular atheist values. You don't follow godly values.
So
I've already demonstrated that.
You don't at all. So tolerance is not a value of yours.
Anyway,
is tolerance
so I think we've established that in Christian Britain in the 19th century, the age of consent was 7, but in his atheist secular country, which he now supports,
do you have to follow Muhammad's
you follow atheism. You follow
do you
atheism.
Have to follow Muhammad's example?
Of course.
There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old. He has to follow it.
No, let's address Aisha. Aisha was biologically a woman, according to... No, because why did Muhammad wait 3 years? He was engaged to her from 6...
tells us why. Because he was waiting to give her the bridal gift. Al-Tabri says that in your sources.
But he waited because when she was a woman, then the consummation of the marriage could take place. Now, this is a biblical principle. A biblical law says you get married at puberty. So he is an atheist. You're an atheist, sir, pretending to be a Christian. So don't follow atheist Christians. Follow real Christians who believe in God's law, and follow Christians and Muslims who also believe in the divine law. But these are fake Christians. They're not real Christians. Sorry.
I asked him, but can you ask him this question? He's God, he's biblical God. He can come from a tree, he can come from the ground, he can come from a sky. Why he choose to come from a little girl vagina, private part?
You need to ask him that question. But I'm just saying that his values come from atheism and secular liberalism. They don't come from divine law, and so he's misleading you and deceiving you when he argues as he does. He's not arguing from the Bible, he's not arguing from Christianity, he's arguing from the Daily Mail, Sky News, the BBC, and all of these media. And he's weaponizing atheism, pretending to be a Christian, to attack Muslims who haven't given up on divine law. So just don't be deceived by this. This is a contrick, an atheist contrick.
You're very honest, and I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you. But I wish you would be honest in your atheism. Your values don't come from God; they come from atheist secular morality.
You also follow secular values, because I imagine you were born here.
Is Islam? Yes, of course I was born here.
Right.
Where were you born? Where were you born?
I was also born here.
Oh, you're English, are you?
You were probably
jolly
raised
good.
with the same secular values that everyone most likely here.
Actually, I wasn't. No,
you were not raised in secular values.
I was raised in a Christian home where we have Christian values, not atheist values like you now follow. Because you now abandon the Bible, abandon biblical morality.
Were you taught you could have sex with a 9-year-old? You weren't, were you?
No. I was taught that biblically. No, you see, you're weaponizing your prejudice and your bigotry against Muslims.
I love Muslims.
Because this is all a lie. This is all a lie.
You know a lot
this
about
is all a lie. This is all a deceit. I, as an Englishman, can spot a lying Englishman.
Right.
I tell you, folks, he is deceiving you. He does not love Muslims. If he did, he would speak with Muslims with respect. I can read it in your. As an Englishman, I can see the lie in your face. You don't like Muslims. You hate Islam and you hate Muslims. I know because I can read it in your face. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm not going to talk to atheists anymore who pretend to be Christians. He pretends to be a Christian. He's not a Christian. So thank you very much. And may you turn to God at this time and abandon atheism and hatred of Islam and Muslims. That's my message to you. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. This gentleman has a question for you as well.
Why you're God?
Shake hands.
Well done. Can you answer a question? Can you answer a question?
He's asking you a question. He's asking you a question. Thank you very much.
Well done, sir.
No. I want to ask a question.
Right, no.
If you,
just give me 2 minutes.
Why you're,
give me 2 minutes.
No, I'm asking a question.
2 minutes.
No, I was asking before. I want to ask this question.
My friend, can you wait 2 minutes?
You're biblical God. You're biblical God. You're biblical God.
Just 2 minutes.
Your biblical God can come from a tree, can come from the ground, can come from the sky.
This is the example
why
of someone
he
who
choose
is
to come
insecure in their
from
faith,
a little
and
girl's private
they have
part.
to heckle you. Because he can't deal with me.
Tell me. Can you answer my question?
Do you have 3 microphones?
My question.
Listen,
no, they are the others.
All
they are
3?
not mine.
Wow,
yes.
That's amazing.
Not me. They are 3. Why your biblical God?
Can I just finish up and then I'll
when
answer
he
you?
can.
Can I just
when
finish
he can.
and I'll
No,
answer
answer
you?
my question. I will go. I will let you do.
You're heckling me.
No. Can you tell me? Can you answer my question?
I am going to answer your question. Could you just let me do this?
No, go ahead. Answer my question.
I'm going to ignore you now.
No, do it. No, do it longer. No, do it longer. Just answer my question. I will leave. I will leave.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to talk
because I want to be in the video, in the middle of the video, before you do conclusion.
Unfortunately,
because they will cut it.
Many Muslims.
I want to know why your biblical God, he can come from the ground, from a tree, from the sky, from wherever. Why he choose to come from a little girl vagina? Go ahead.
You're done.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to talk to this camera.
All the time he comes to talk about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
You have examples.
Can a Christian answer the question? Can the Christian?
They don't know how to defend their faith, and they don't know how to defend
He can't
Muhammad.
read Numbers 31, 17, 18, because that proves his
Muslims
biblical
need to
God.
reject Islam and embrace the true religion of Jesus Christ. And I
Can you?
my friend
No.
here,
He already proved to you.
He
proved to you. Can you answer my question? Can you answer my question? Can you answer my question?
And I wish him all
you
the
can
best.
deceive me. You can joke
I
that
have no problem with
you know
any
you are
Muslim.
expert
I
in
love all
playing
Muslims.
games. You are expert
Thank
in
you very
playing
much.
games.
God bless.
Can you answer my question? Can you answer my question?
I'm done now.
Did he say he will answer the question?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I'm allowed to. What was the question?
Go ahead.
I was listening to the camera.
Okay, I said my question is, your biblical God, okay, you all the time accusing the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about pedophilia.
Sure.
Now I'm saying...
Well, I don't say that.
I'm
I actually
saying,
just say he slept with a child,
I'm
which is what they
saying
say.
your biblical God, he can come from a tree. He can come from
God
the ground.
is all powerful,
Why?
yes.
He can come from the ground. He can come from a tree.
He is all powerful, yes.
Why he choose to come from a little girl vagina?
He is all powerful. Why did in your religion, why did the prophet Jesus come from a vagina?
Look at the answer. Look at the answer.
Well, no, you have the same problem.
Can you answer?
You have the same
Can you
problem.
answer my question? Answer my question.
Listen.
Before,
God can
not
do all
ask
things.
me with that question. Can you answer my question? Answer my
God
question.
can do all. You've got three.
Yeah, go
God
ahead,
can do all things.
Like these people, they will hear
I
you
know.
properly.
I'm trying to funny. You're holding
100%.
3 microphones.
You can't change.
I've never had 3
word.
microphones on me.
Well, go ahead.
Listen, God can do all things, yes. And so if God wishes to do that and to be incarnate through the person of Mary, he can do so.
Okay.
That is your answer.
Wait. No. Stop. You are deceiving. I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that. Now, if I'm a magician, listen. It's not insecurity. You know, you didn't. If I'm a magician, I can change myself to a cat, and I went to a little girl to touch her private part, to touch her body. How you will call me?
A magician? What?
Yes,
what are you
if
on
I'm
about?
a magician.
Why are you talking about cats and magicians?
If I'm a magician,
Sammy,
listen to me. Listen, if you focus.
I am listening. I answered you, and then you were insistent on talking about something else.
You didn't.
Sammy, I answered your question.
What you said
Sammy,
God can do whatever. I'm
yes,
asking
do you believe he can?
I'm asking you why he choose. That means it will be. Look, if I'm a magician and I can transform myself to a cat,
Sammy,
and they start to touch private part of a little girl,
I don't care about magicians talking.
You will call me a pedophile. That's what your biblical God
Sammy,
did.
Sammy.
Okay, can you now tell me why
Sammy,
your biblical God, he choose instead of coming from a tree, if he's not pedophile, like you accused the Muslim about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why he choose to come from a little girl private part? Can you answer that?
Sammy, I don't have to jump
Look,
through hoops.
If he can't, go to Sam Dawah, go to All Loving, go to ASF Dawah, and you will find the video. If he cut this piece.
Okay. Well, I won't cut it.
Huh? You will.
Okay. Well,
you will.
We'll find out.
You will. What is the name of your channel?
Chris at Speaker's Corner.
Chris at Speaker's Corner.
Thank
Then
you
go in it and see it.
That's nice of you. I appreciate it. That's good of you.
Can you answer my question then?
I've already answered your question.
No, you didn't.
Come on.
No, you didn't.
All right. Listen.
You
Have a
didn't.
lovely day.
Yeah,
and I'll speak to you soon.
You too.
Right.
But just you prove to the people that your biblical God, instead of talking about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have to be shy and shame of your biblical God first in the first place. Thank you, and run like a coward. And he say, by the way, I'm the one who want to talk to him, to have a discussion with him, when he's the one who ran away like a coward.
Come on, Sammy. Better than that.
Yeah, he's still here. He didn't go. He's still here.
Yeah,
just only he become a cameraman. He become a cameraman instead of.
Sorry, I got inspiration from you, Sammy.